I'm gonna call the meeting to session. We'll do roll call. Iverson? Here. Krieger?
Here.
Vandenbrink?
Here.
Page?
Here.
Yatsky? Here. Sorensen is absent. Dankert is also absent. I would take a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Moving on to public comment. I don't see anybody from the public here. Moving on to the secretary's report for June. Any comments, Doug, anything?
Nope.
Make a motion to approve the secretary's report for June.
Also move.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Secretary's report for June is approved. Treasurer's report. They were attached to the email. I'm assuming. Heather, do you have any comments on anything?
No, I don't think so. No, everything's pretty much straightforward. Unless anybody has questions for me.
Like months ago, there was like an issue with the budgeted versus actual total. Is that all fixed? I thought you were having, going back and forth with them.
Yeah, now she just has me do it. I think it's accrual basis, so everything is, it's coming out, so.
A question on payments for 16. So the remove and rebuild master drain, fill tank, plumbing, that's all was one deal for
Right.
the
Correct.
leaks and
That was for 14.
that's for 14?
Yep. This engine 16 was to diagnose the injector problem. The rebuild, the remove and rebuild master drain and fixed tank fill plumbing, that was, part of that came off of the DOT testing they found that needed to be fixed, and then it was, the pipe was leaking up above, so we were leaking water.
Yep. The pipe was rusted through.
Yeah, thank you.
So that's not the same truck we had the tank leak on?
No.
10 to 13.
That was 10 or 13, and that was an easy fix. That was the $617 charge.
Right above it.
That, yeah, they just had to seal something up. And so they drained it, sealed it, and then filled it back up. So,
Nobody has any other questions? Take your time to entertain the motion to approve.
What's the EPA's annual fee? That's back fee.
Employee assistance.
It's the Employee Assistance Program,
Oh, okay.
so, and that went up $500 this year from last year.
Is that just flat, no matter how many people you have, or is it scaled?
No, it's a flat fee for the whole year, whether how many people use it or not.
I'll make the motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'll second it.
No other comments? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, same sign. Treasurer's report for June is approved. Chief Hollis?
She's handing out the run sheet right there.
Report. Is it approved yesterday? Is
I do not have one. You never know.
You guys really have one now?
Just a question, how do you do weather spotting? Is it whoever is on here, like the paid on premises people? Or is it call in people and they're on call and they do spotting? Who goes spotting?
All depends on what time of the day it is.
Yeah.
If it's usually after 6 or 5, then it's the paid on call. And some of the paid on call are daytime guys, so they're in the city, so basically all calls, all come down, we all go out.
Never seen a foot stuck in door on one of these before.
I didn't know how to put it on here, so that's how it got put on. So,
I guess it is what it is, you can't, they can't watch it.
Yep.
Any questions on the run report for the calls? On the bottom there, you can see the number of fire members at the end of June is 20, paid on call is 6 part-time members. In June, we participated in the last day of school at Apollo Park, where we kind of spray the kids with water. The bike rodeo, Ripon Fest fireworks, and the Ripon Fest parade also, and then the Kiwanis Children's Fair. You can see their calls for the month were 25. Total calls for this year, last time were 222. We are still 86 calls down from this time last year. Fire inspection update. We haven't started the second round yet. The day crew has been working on hose testing, so we get that all completed and done. We also hydro tested our SCBA bottles, which are our air pack bottles. Those have to be tested every 5 years. So they did those in one day. All 30 some bottles out there plus. So they were able to get those all done Thursday. Everything came back good. There's nothing wrong with the bottles. So they're all put back into service Friday, and the rigs are all ready to roll. So fire inspections, I'm sure will get started here soon. I'm not too worried about those, I'll get them done. Next on here is approve the hire that we talked about last meeting. We brought them in, we re-interviewed them. We had a couple questions we wanted to ask them. So it was a good interview. So I think we're looking for your guys' blessing to hire him and bring him on, so.
Do you need a motion for his name?
Yeah,
Drake
Drake. Geezy.
Easy or something like that?
Drake Easy?
Easy,
I'd
yeah.
entertain a motion to approve the hire or offer employment to Drake Easy.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Just so you know, he would be a daytime person, so just so you know.
Yeah, he was just finishing up his firefighter 1. He had passed the written, I believe, and had to do the practical portion, so we're just waiting to hear.
How old is the kid? Can't ask that, but he's just a young guy then,
Yeah.
He's a younger
Yeah,
person.
from Ripon or?
No.
no, outside the area.
Yeah.
Not too far outside, but
Next thing on here is up.
Hold on.
Oh, go ahead.
If there's no other comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Update on equipment and maintenance. I don't think there's anything action-wise we need to do tonight.
No.
So,
No.
that's all I got until we get down a little further. So, Kevin?
so a little update. So I passed out, there's a couple of SOGs, as I reported last month. That's really what I had been working on the last month or so, is just collecting all the different SOGs and things that were out there from previous years. got them organized. And then I've started going through them to get an update, because a lot of them were updated last, and some were 2009 and some were 2017. So I started going through at least the administrative SOGs and just kind of giving them an update. And so the two that we came across are the ones that you have in front of you now. Special event tasks and or functions that members sign up for. Summarize it, they sign up for 11 hours of public education or events that occur in our 3 communities. They get to sign off and prioritize the number of events, and then the most senior firefighters get the first choices, and then it kind of moves down to the newest firefighter who kind of gets what's left. But there's enough to go around that they have lots of opportunities to sign up for different things. And it just said, some of the things we added was a little more leeway, like if they can't make it, but it is their responsibility to call and make sure somebody can take their place. Some things like that weren't very clear in the SOG, so, and that if they miss, then there's some progressive type discipline, which is, you know, really just get talked to and, you know, hey, you need to sign up, basically. So I think it was just spelling it out, getting that list out at a certain time so that they can take a look at it and have proper time to sign up for things that work around their schedule. So it's just a real basic tweak. I don't think there was a lot of information I added, but it hadn't been updated for, I think it was like 16 years. So we just added some things, that's it. So that's the first one. The second one was a little more in depth, and that was the alcohol and drug abuse. This was an administrative SOG, and I think it should be a policy, more of an SOG. Really don't want leeway and this is just my opinion. But I don't know if you want leeway in this. I think it should be a policy. And it, you know, the final outcome is really based on testing done at the hospital. What I did was, this again was created in 2017, and it was a good policy, but some of the things that I added were, where do we take the person? You know, if there's some kind of issue, whether it's on scene or at training or something like that, there was no directions on where to go. And so I added some directions on what to do. If one place is closed, you take them to this place after business hours, listed an address, phone number, that type of thing. And then the other thing I added, and this was through the attorney, it would be letter N. He suggested adding the 5 types of reasons to, that there would be drug testing. So pre-employment, reasonable suspicion, post-accident, which we have already done in the past, follow-up, members who may have tested positive, you would follow up and they may get a retest, and then random if there are instances where an officer or somebody witnesses something or has some type of suspicion. And then on the very last page is kind of a checklist, and I have to do a little fixing to it, but the checklist lists different reasons or suspicions of what happened, so they can fill it out and have it documented. So really that's really what we added, but I just wanted to make it a little more clear in case something does happen, that we have something that has a little more, I don't wanna say teeth to it, but has a little more direction, so that we know what we need to do, where to go, who to call if something's closed, so.
And I think weren't we a little bit more on, because it was like alcohol heavy, and we kind of put it alcohol and drug.
Yes, it
So
was
it's
more,
kind of both.
yes, it was more alcohol heavy, and so we made it for both equal.
So what was the attorney's thoughts? I mean, it should be a policy.
Yes, Yes, should be a policy, that was also his thought as well, is to make sure that, otherwise in an SOG, it's more of a guideline and, you know, and obviously we don't wanna be, you know, fist hammer and everything, but in that way, you know, there's that chance of somebody getting hurt on scene or causing an incident or an accident. This way, I think has a little more teeth to it and should be a policy where there's really not a lot of leeway. Really, the leeway comes in the testing, you know, the results of the test. And they have an opportunity to retest if they want, so.
Okay, and then, I mean, haven't read this through, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna ask some questions that
Sure.
probably are answered.
Yeah.
So who has the authority to do that?
The officers do,
Does it have to be a chief?
chief officers, yes, chief officer. So if an officer, so a lieutenant or a captain witnesses it, that person's supposed to take it to a chief, the chief officer. And then they make the decision.
Right, okay.
So do we wanna move this to, policy? Do we wanna change that tonight?
Yeah, I guess my question there is, like, what in here designates it as SOG versus SOP? I just don't see it called out. Like, they both are rule and regulation, they both start with a one, they're both administrative.
Yeah, so I have, originally, this is administrative, so being in draft, if we decide to make it a policy, the classification, I'll just change it and move it to a policy instead of administrative. This would be and renumbered, so that's a good one. So this would be removed as SOG 1-005, and it would be, policy 1-001, because this was the only policy that we have. Everything else are SOGs currently.
Well, I guess we'll start with that one, start with the 1005, so if nobody has an issue, I would entertain a motion to move the proposed and place as a policy 1-005 with a couple of minor tweaks in the back. I'm assuming you just mean the format.
Yes.
So, to get this straight, you want to move the alcohol and drug abuse from policy, or from SOG, standard operating guideline, to a policy which is more rigid
Correct.
and, okay.
So it'd be moving it from an SOG 1-005 to policy,
Yep.
SOP 1-005.
Yes.
1-001.
Yes, I'm sorry, 1001, it'll be
It's
the
our
first policy.
It's our first policy.
Oh, okay,
Yep.
all right, thank you. Okay,
Okay,
sorry, Doug.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. There's no other comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And similar comment, you're good with this staying at SOG?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So I entertain a motion to accept the changes to 1-021, special event tasks and functions as an SOG.
I'll make that.
I'll second it.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Both motions pass.
All right, thank you. A couple of other things I've been working on for this past month is, the area of where calls are entered into the national system, the NIFR system. The US is changing over to a different system, it's called NERIS. And so I think our zone, what did they say, December or
December.
January? So Heather and I, and Chief have been trying to figure out when it'll take place here, what kind of changes we'll have to make, or how it'll work through ESO. So, I have some questions because, I was at the state chiefs conference, last week, and one of the departments said that they use not ESO, but they use a different software, and that company is charging $5,000 to update software to use Nearest. So I have some questions, and so we just kind of got some emails from ESO, because that's my first question is ESO gonna have this, I don't know, module or whatever is used now, is it gonna be the same without any having to update it or anything like that? So, I'll be taking a look into that. Coop has emailed me, he wants to start working on doing some driver operator training, in-house. And so I had created a chart of different driving tasks that's, part of driver operator, using cones. There's like 6 different, tests that you can do. So we created a chart so that he can start testing out some of our newer guys, and there's a couple that are gonna go for driver operator, here in August. So, I think it's a good plan to start getting, some of the younger members, into the driver operator mode and get comfortable doing that, so that's a good way to do it. And then Coop also wants to start doing, making a updated equipment list on the apparatus. So we'll be going through compartments, and he's been doing a really good job at inventorying. So he just got done inventorying all the SEBA bottles that were just tested. So now they're in the ESO inventory, and that just kind of helps track those types of maintenance things, or when something's out of date, you know, that we have to be on the radar of taking a look at for replacement. So, but we'll be starting to work on that. I did review about 10 SOGs and didn't want to inundate you with SOGs because it's a lot. And so maybe each month now moving forward, we may have a couple to at least say, hey, these are updated, they've been reviewed, and there may not be any changes, but at least they've been looked at. And then this past month, we did some master streams training, driver operator and drafting, and that went really well. So we got some of our new firefighters acclimated to the deck gun and being able to use that, setting up the tank for drafting, and being able to drive with the tender, unloading water, things like that. So that went really well. And then we also used the tower to do some search and rescue, hose advancement, and that went really well. You could tell from the first time that we did it back in May to the June training that a lot more, you know, a lot more cleaner, a lot more purpose, and so that part's been working good. So that's pretty much June. Does anybody have any questions for me? All right, thank you.
Alright. Old business, disposal of equipment. You have something come up that you're disposing of?
Last month, they, were you here last month?
Yeah. Was it the vehicles? I was still
Yes.
stuck on the drone and I was thinking.
Yeah.
No, we handed out the things, that Coop had done up about what vehicles and how we can, and so that was just supposed to come back up again and decide what vehicle, if we wanna get rid of anything.
Yeah.
I think we should move that to next one. And wait till Ellen's here.
It's fine.
We can't make a decision without Ellen or what?
Okay, well then, let's make a decision.
She told me to get rid of whatever we wanted. That was what she sent me at city council.
Well, I think at the last meeting, I discussed getting rid of engine 11.
Yeah.
The new one is in production. So that one was on the docket to get rid of, engine 11. We did cannibalize it, and we used a lot of the hose stuff off of it for the other rigs, so we didn't have to buy new stuff. So we're able to save money in the department that way. Engine 11 just sits down there anyway right now. It's not being used. It just.
When was the last time you used it?
And we used it probably
Couple
months ago.
Month
They were
ago.
doing some hydrant testing with the new
Yeah,
guys.
with the new fire.
Cooper and the new guys.
Yeah, I think May.
We're just driving up to it and they were getting out, hooking up hydrant and stuff, but, so there is no hose on it right now, so it's basically cannibalized. So I would suggest putting that one up for sale, like sooner than later. There's stuff in the shed out there that we wanna put on Wisconsin Surplus or one of the auction sites. So I think if we get the ball rolling with that stuff, see what we get for engine 11, because I know we want to put the money towards putting tires on equipment, and then see where that goes. You know, maybe, I don't know what that engine's gonna bring. It could bring 3,000, it could bring 30,000. We just don't know. So I would probably go that direction. Start with engine 11, get it on the internet here within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we talked about like giving it the, I don't wanna say a test run, but let's put one piece of equipment on the surplus, see how it goes
Yep.
before we load 10 items on there and who knows where it goes, right? So that's, we all just had a chat about that, and I think that's the best thing. That way we get a little practice in and getting it set up and figure out, you know, anything else that we can do to make it, you know, sell better or high or whatever. There's a whole bunch of stuff, like Chief said, in the shed that we can, you know, work on next. And so, and that's where the equipment thing too, I talked about Coop, is they cannibalize that engine. Let's get the proper equipment on the other rigs then, and then, or save it for the new engine coming. That way, like Chief said, we may be able to save some money in equipment then.
That's the new one coming? Don't know yet.
March is what we last we heard.
You had to bid the chassis fee yet for that?
What's that?
Coming soon though, I think.
Yeah. Paying the chassis fee to get it going. I think that's gonna be coming soon.
Okay, do we need a motion to dispose
If
of?
nobody else has any comments on it, we entertain a motion.
Are we gonna do some kind of reserve at all, or just let it go for what we get?
I mean, I can check around and see what they think it's worth. My guess is that, like Chief said, if we get 30 grand for that, we're gonna be very lucky. Unfortunately,
high side.
right? I mean, most often, somebody will buy it to use as a hobby, a parade or something like that. And if you get 10K for it, we're gonna be lucky.
Or somebody can buy it at a farmer for a water truck.
Yeah.
Truck
Yeah,
water around, or
Yeah.
a construction company or something like that.
Most of them now are by bigger tanks than that.
Yeah.
the one benefit it has is that it's for, you know, a 30-year-old truck or whatever. It's actually in pretty good shape, you know, it's not
33 years old.
33, so, you know, mechanical wise, you know, there might be a few tweaks to get it, you know, where it needs to be, but body shape wise, I think it's in pretty good shape, so you never know. We just sold an ambulance for a little town down by Madison, and we didn't think they were gonna get more than 150,000 for it, put it on the surplus, and actually the bid close to like 240, so who knows, you never know, so. But just past experience, 10, 20, maybe 30. But you never know, if there's somebody that's really interested in it and you get a couple people going at it, who knows where it can go.
Like if we put it on the surplus, don't we have to start at a certain amount? No? Okay.
Can you put a minimum?
You can.
Some-
I think you can,
I think you
yeah.
can if you want, or you can
Yeah.
just leave it open.
Yeah, like you said, put a reserve on it, we have to sell it for at least 5 or whatever that is, I mean, we certainly can do that. So,
And I still have 2 engines left.
Yes.
correct,
Mhm.
yes.
And then
au-
both of our
auto aid,
pumpers, and
yeah.
both of our pumpers,
Have
or both of our
pumps.
tenders
Ten
pump,
pumpers.
Yep,
so. I was trying to say that backwards.
and Brandon Fairwater Auto
Yeah,
Aid.
yeah, we have auto aid coming, so.
I would entertain a motion to put engine 11 on the surplus site for a minimum of 5. Is that right? 5.
Is there a motion?
Jonathan, is that a motion that you just made?
No, I can't make it, because one of you guys have to make the motion. I'm entertaining the motion, so.
All right, I'll make the motion. I'll make a motion to sell engine 11 on the Wisconsin surplus site, minimum bid of $5,000.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? Like you're deep in thought.
Oh, yeah.
I don't wanna rush you. Any questions?
That's all right, go for it, I got it on my pen reader.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No. I just like that other, getting it a little closer.
Alright, motion passes. Any updates on Pierce Manufacturing? I had nothing from Ellen.
Good, yeah.
The engine committee did meet like 2 weeks ago. We had to do a graphic design on the new engine. The reflective striping or any lettering we want on it, or like engine 11 will be on it and stuff. We had to go through it. There was some paperwork that Leslie from Pierce sent us. So we went through all that. Chief Borders was there as well with us. So we submitted that to her. She's supposed to be getting us a copy or a printout of what it's gonna look like with what we have designed on it. So we can make changes now, because once it goes into production,
Change order fees.
yeah, then it gets costly. So it was kind of decided to go with the same striping that the truck 17 has. So we're kind of staying with the looks, that everything's the same. So we went around, made our decisions, submitted it. We have not heard back yet from Leslie, so we're just waiting for that. But it sounds like we are gonna meet with Leslie soon to keep moving forward with it, so. I don't know if that's where the chassis fee will have to be paid then or what.
Well, she should tell you when the chassis,
Yeah.
I mean, she should let you know
Prior.
Yeah.
that it's gonna be due in 30 days or whatever, so you guys have time to pay it.
So that's where Pierce is, and still slated for March.
When you get the picture, will you send it out so we can see it?
Sure. Yeah, we can email you guys.
We can drive it out to you, Gary. We'll drive it out to you.
There's nothing else that you've decided we need or don't need on the truck?
We decided that when we all went up there.
Nothing's been changed since
Nothing,
you
yeah.
guys all made that trip,
Right.
yeah.
I was just thinking it's been a year ago.
Yeah.
I mean,
2 years.
you know, you change tactics. you
Yeah,
change-
new technology.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Packer engine, I'd still think about getting rid of.
Alright, new business 2026 budget discussion? I didn't have anything from Ellen on
Neither do we.
that. Okay.
Easy.
Alright, number 8, the MOU, the city of Ripon for emergency management vehicle, that was passed around. Or no, it was emailed out. Sorry.
Yeah, it was emailed out to you, but you should've got it with your board packet.
Does that just formalize what's being done right now with it?
Yeah, it kinda makes it more understandable than, as to who's paying for what.
Yeah, I think it answered the maintenance question
Yeah.
of that vehicle.
And who owns it?
And who.
Yeah.
You know, when we brought it up to Adam, he mentioned to me that like, it should be formalized.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because On his end, he was like,
Well, cause when we asked a question, nobody seemed to know, so I'm like, this way, you've got something, it's in the records, and then that way, anybody going forward knows what's going on, instead of the guessing.
no. This isn't an action item, it's just for reference. It is,
And I guess, I mean, if there's anything you don't,
Well, doesn't somebody have to sign it? I mean,
yeah.
so it would be an action.
No, but it's not on here as an action.
it's not.
Oh, it's not on that.
That's what I asked.
Right, for this meeting.
So agenda items for future meetings. We'll come back to old equipment and see if you guys actually sold that. And then revisit what else we want to maybe
Yeah,
come
we
back
talked
and
about
sell.
getting a list together of things that are out in the shed or whatever that could be listed.
Is that all just like smaller equipment?
Loose equipment, yeah.
then we'll come back to the MOU as an action item if it needs to be, unless it's just something that needs to have the president sign off. And consent.
You know, I just wanted to go back to this thing again. On the disposal, so what if
Disposal of what?
the command
Engine?
vehicle?
Or command vehicle, okay.
Okay. So it says here that the city is in charge of that.
Yep.
Now, if the city doesn't want to use it, they want to get rid of it, and the fire department thinks they need it, the city could still sell it.
Mhm.
To us.
Huh?
To us,
Yeah.
correct.
Doesn't say to you.
Well, no, but I mean, they can sell it to anybody, but I'm sure if we say, if they say we wanna get rid of it, and we say, well, we really wanna keep it, I'm sure they're going to go, oh, well, how much? And-
Sure. But we can add that in to your comment, just add like a first right of refuse is Ripon Fire District.
Yeah, I was just curious, because it's in there, and all of a sudden they
Yep.
decide,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we haven't used it for 2 years, but sell it. And the city and the town's been using it 3-4 times a year. That's,
I'll make that,
That's
if
all-
everyone's good with it, I'll just put that as a comment and I'll email it back to Alan. And just
Yeah.
say, this should be in there and see if Adam agrees to it. I don't know why he wouldn't.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
I don't know why you
that's
don't.
fair, so we can,
Yeah.
you know, still costs us 3/4 what it would otherwise. I just thought that should be brought up, just in case, I mean.
Anybody have anything else for agenda items for next month?
Most likely, most likely she's going to want put back on next month
Oh,
is
the budget,
the budget.
Budget,
And it's-
oh, and then,
maybe a
SOGs.
SOG or two.
SOP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we'll just leave the SOP, SOG updates on there
Yeah,
every month.
yeah,
If we
as
don't
we
have
move
any, we
along
can
now.
just skip over them.
Yep.
At least it's on there.
Eventually our action item list will just be just a batch of stuff we skip over. Okay, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned at 7:30.